We are live. Okay. Let me finish the attendance, and you guys please get out your assignment when you compare the factory rules and plantation rules. Let's go over it. Alright. So, Castro Thomas, Castro Diego, both here. Cespedes Guardia. Kirby's not here?
He went to the beach.
You mean he's not going to be here today at all?
At all.
Oh, amazing. How lucky. What a Christmas gift, right? Yeah. He's a really good kid. Maria Teresa's here. Karen.
Karen is here.
Amanda Lourdes was late.
No, I wasn't.
Anna Maria Nicole is not here?
No.
Okay. Ruiz, everybody's here, basically. Okay. Wait.
Marcelo Jesus.
No, I'm not late now.
Good. So guys, what we're going to do right now, and I need a recorder who wants to write the stuff on the board. Who's going to write stuff on the board? All right,
I would like to.
Can I write on
My
No,
leg
it
hurts, so I
requires,
cannot.
it requires one person that has good handwriting.
I'm injured.
Me?
I'm injured.
I have Diana. No, not Daniel.
It's not that big.
Me.
All right. End of story. If he can't handle it, we'll subtract him out.
Can we open the door?
No, what we can do is begin the task. Okay? So, I'm looking for okay. So, looking at, as you did, the rules of a factory and the rules of a plantation, you were supposed to outline similarities, differences, okay, and duties and rules. What I want to do is kind of go over the ones that stood out to you the most, and then talk about why are they there? Why are they in place? Why did the writers of these, let's call them codes of conduct, feel compelled to include them? Well, obviously they're important, but what makes them important? Willem, you want to give us the first example? Okay, well you're going to have to just follow along. Okay? It's fine. We're going to go over this, so there's plenty of coverage. Do you want to give us one example of something that stood out to you? Why? Okay, David, go ahead.
A difference.
Let's start with the mills. Sorry. The mills, Lewiston, the factory.
Listen, it was said that workers couldn't sew, read, or knit.
Why would they not allow them to sew, read, or knit?
In their free time.
No, it's not their free time.
Yeah, maybe while they were in the factory.
Because they weren't.
Right, now what does that encourage?
To be focused in what they have.
Focus, because if you're focused on the task at hand, what are you doing?
Good job.
You're focusing on this. What did somebody in the back said? Producing. You're producing more. You're more productive. You're more efficient. Okay?
You're not thinking, well, in 15 minutes I'm going to take a break and read.
Okay. Well, very good. I mean, in this line of work, it's the same thing. What would Mr. Ronaldo think if he came in and you guys are all working independently and I'm reading Sports Illustrated? You know? I mean, if I'm sitting in here reading or grading while you guys are working independently, that's fine. But they want you to use the time productively. Your time should be devoted to the completion of your task, the task that you're paid to do. In our case, to learn about United States history. Okay? So, another thing that stood out to you about Lewiston Plantation Mill rules, Casafant.
I think it was only 6 months work.
Okay, contracts, 6 months renewable. Okay? Versus, now let's do a direct comparison. Versus the plantation for life. Okay? So 6 months contract renewable, obviously plantation, your property. You're employed for life at that plantation or until you are sold. Okay, good.
They have to go to church.
Do they have to go to church?
No.
Yeah.
Let's look at this.
Public worship. It says in
It's number 9. I'm going to read it out loud. All persons in the employ of the Lewiston Mills, so all people employed by the mills, are earnestly requested to attend public worship on the Sabbath. What does that mean? Earnestly requested. Earnestly requested.
Encouraged.
Strongly encouraged. Seriously encouraged. Highly encouraged, as you just said.
Very.
Okay? It's not mandatory. It doesn't say it's mandatory to go to church. But it's highly encouraged. Why would they want to highly encourage their employees to attend church services on Sunday? What does that do?
Let them understand that they are blessed for having to work and they have to.
It would encourage, yeah, what do we call that? Like,
Perseverance.
what type of behaviors is the assumption that attending church will produce.
Good behavior.
Discipline, good behavior, moral behavior, righteous behavior. Also, if you're working in a factory with your colleagues during the week and then on Sundays you're going to church with them, what else is it encouraging the development of?
Friendship.
Friendship in a group of friends, community. It's building community, right?
Yes.
It's making more moral and righteous people out of you. And of course, factory workers are mostly whom at this time? Where are they coming from? Poor whites and poor
Blacks also.
blacks, but who else? Think about it.
Oh, immigrants.
Immigrants, right? Immigrants, foreign countries. Okay, many of them Catholics. Okay?
Scottish.
Well, we talked about a number of them, and we're going to look at it in more detail when you guys come back from break. But this idea of encouraging morality, encouraging the development of community. Your workers in the factory are oftentimes going to live in the same communities, right? And the industrialists don't want these communities to be in a state of decay. They don't want criminality, right? This stuff is going to exist. We looked at it when we studied, or last class, when we looked at urbanization, pros and cons. But they want to encourage stability. All right? They want to encourage righteousness.
Yeah.
Go to church on Sundays. You're a better man for it, or a better woman for it.
They want to also stop people from stealing material, desperate people from stopping material.
Okay, this is
There's
one.
also a rule also. If somebody's
That's
caught
for-
What
stealing-
about factory?
But that's
It will be accused of
I don't see that. Where is it mentioned in the plantation rules? Because I didn't see anything about stealing in
Oh,
the
yeah, if
plantation.
you steal food, you will get whipped.
Well, of course, they don't even have to tell you not to steal. I mean, it's just stealing is wrong, right? Whether you're Jewish or Christian or Muslim or whatever, there's no religion I'm aware of that promotes theft. And even if you're agnostic or atheist, it's just kind of a moral wrong. But if they make a rule against it, what does that kind of tell us?
That you can't.
Well, we know that you can't, but what does it tell us?
It has been done.
Huh?
They're like more supervised.
Maybe they're being more supervised. But what is the issue? Yeah.
People are stealing.
People are stealing. You see it here. Okay, it hasn't happened at this school, but my last school, there was actually an issue. People were taking things from the library, books, not checking them out and taking them home. Okay, we don't know who it was, students or teachers. Probably most likely students, I would hope. I mean, it's more forgivable if you're an adolescent. If you're an adult, you should really know better. But even like my father owns a business. Okay, he employs many people. Doesn't fire that many, but has had to in the past. And simple things like toilet paper or Windex, household cleaning products, paper towels, staplers, they disappear. Oh, and the thought process of the person taking it is, oh, they have a lot, they're not going to notice. But if everybody has that mentality, what's going to happen to your bottom line?
Yeah, everything is gonna disappear.
Your costs are going to
That
increase.
sometimes happens here, but with doctors and people that labor in hospitals
Mhm.
and have like private clinics. So
People
they
taking
take stuff.
medications
And
especially,
even they
selling
Yes.
on the street.
They take loaves from the hospital and take them to their own business.
So if it's there, it must be a problem. That's the key. We don't see it so much, well, it's not mentioned in the plantation rules. But like you said, the implication, no matter where you work, is you don't have the right to steal from your employee or the right to steal from anyone.
I think it's harder for the plantation people to steal because they're working in the plantation. Many people, very few are the ones that work on like the house of the boss, so they have a little probability of stealing stuff because there's not much to steal.
But it is different. For example, in the plantation, you are caught stealing.
There's
Go ahead.
consequences for this. For example, if you steal in a factory, probably you'll get fired.
Right.
If you steal in a plantation, you're gonna get whipped.
Yes.
This corporal punishment, right?
Yes.
Physical punishment that you actually have to endure.
Yes, it's different. And also,
That might be more discouraging than I'm going to lose my job, especially in the industrial era where these kind of unskilled factory jobs are very replaceable. Like you could lose a job and then go and find one relatively quickly. There are times of economic depression where that's not the case. But even to use a more recent example, when my grandfather, when he graduated from high school, he didn't graduate actually, when he dropped out of high school in the 1940s, this is Buffalo, New York, a big industrial town, he said you could find a job in 2-3 hours if you just went to the mills, you went to the factories, and then you could get hired and get fired that week and then find another job. And a couple hours later, there was such an abundance of work available. Not the most high quality of work, right? Manual, kind of factory, hard labor, unskilled labor. Okay. What other things did you notice in there?
And also that happens today because my father told me that his company, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, he works like in a place where there are a lot of companies, a park for companies.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, he says that sometimes they have to fire somebody because he did something wrong, and he's started factory right next to it, and he gets hired right there, and then they switch, and people move. They're really very sad.
So you're saying it's still an issue here in Costa Rica?
Yeah.
Okay, not surprising. Okay, we're changing the angle up. I'm gonna bring a GoPro in after Christmas and put it on my head, and that's how I'm gonna film it. It'll be first person teaching with Mr. Caffarella, because it's hard because people are commenting and you don't see them; they're off camera. Okay, go ahead. Amanda, you had your hand raised. Okay, what else did you notice?
Me,
Yes.
we have no medical attention.
Okay, this is good, and we're gonna talk about this in detail. In the factory, well,
No, yes, no, in the factory they
let's
have no
focus
medical-
factory first. Tell us, Vargas, what do you got? In the factory, what?
The factory has no medical attention.
There's no medical attention given. Now, what do they have in regards to if they're sick?
They get visited.
They get visited, and they're also allowed to not go to work. So they can take a leave of absence or a sick day.
They have to report it.
But they have to report it to their overseer, right? Or risk of losing their job potentially. How does this differ from the way that the plantation handles sickness or illness? Go ahead, Casfont.
And the overseer, well, the owner, let's say, after searching after doing all his work, he eats breakfast, I think, and goes to the places where they sleep and take care of the sick people.
Yeah, they do, and it says that they have to check on them numerous times. Yeah, and also, what else are they provided with? Besides just checking in on them, medicine is guaranteed, and doctor visit if it's needed. Go ahead.
But I don't think they check because they're good people. I think they check because a slave could lie if they're sick and then they could escape.
Or, okay, that's a very good point, but why else do you think when we look at the way industrial labor, hold on, we look at the way industrial laborers are treated in this situation versus slaves, why do you think the slaves might be given more attention? Go ahead.
Because they cannot lose a slave. They're very expensive.
They're very expensive, so essentially, good. What's a slave to a master?
Proper money.
Property.
And it's unique. In a factory, you can replace the person who makes the job, but you cannot replace a slave that is his coat.
Very good. No, this is an important idea that, okay, industrial laborers are infinitely replaceable, whereas slave, it costs more. And essentially, you're buying a slave to produce profits for you in the long term. Therefore, a slave is what?
Money.
An investment.
Investment. Yeah, a slave is an investment. You want to take care of your investment, right? Where you could kind of be dismissive or, just less caring towards an industrial employee because whatever, what's he going to do, quit? There's a million more of them I can throw right into the factory. It's unskilled labor. Whereas slave, big time investment. You want to treat them well. Also, besides the fact that they're investment, what's another motivation to treat your slaves well?
If you treat them well, they will work better for you.
Maybe that's a good idea. You don't want to be so cruel because then they might not work
They
hard.
don't want, and so if they are cared for, they won't feel the need to escape and. do
Ah,
something
okay.
better.
Give them a good quality of life.
Rebel,
And also,
like,
Mr.
They won't revolt if they're contented.
No, but I mean, like, if they're not contented, they could just start doing small things. Like I don't know if it was in the English book we just read, that they could start not doing their job, taking more time doing their job, or
Sabotaging work, permanent. They intentional work stoppages or breaking the tools intentionally, pretending it was an accident. They call them those work slowdowns. There's various ways that slaves resisted slavery. The most obvious one is the outright revolt, but there's other ways where they could slow down work, etc. And, just maybe not work that hard. Yeah.
I think also the reputation of the slaveholders, because that's for a reason, like on our English book, they fired a slave that they didn't know it was his master, and he met it in public, and he said the master was bad, so they
The thing was that the master came and he found him there, and the master,
As the
without
slave.
identifying himself as the master, asked him how was his master, how did his master
Who
treat
was his
him.
master?
Yes, and he started telling him that he was a really bad master and that he didn't treat him well, so he got fired for that.
So the reputation, like